Hi there, Timothy Linsdale, video producer and a Christian. Today we're talking about plastics, and surprisingly enough, even with all the rage and carrying on in Washington about Trump, he has signed a Save Our Seas Act targeting plastic and marine waste. Now that's an important thing. Let's talk about it. Like and comment, subscribe to my channel, like and comment on the video, subscribe to my channel, that'd be terrific, thank you. Yes, as of last year, October, beefing up the U.S. government's efforts to control ocean plastic pollution and authorizing funding for marine debris cleanup and research, laying the groundwork for stronger international action. That was signed into law. It was in a White House ceremony. Trump said Save Our Seas Act had a bipartisan support. It passed the Senate unanimously, and he suggested his administration would be pushing other countries on the problem. I was watching some stuff on PBS recently on the problems with plastic. As a conservative, most conservatives do not like to be pushed around by our government. And we get sudden changes where kids are accusing us of multiple atrocities with our plastic, which makes it even harder to get into this argument and truly understand it. And that's what's so important. Putting on our science cap, we need to pay attention to what the actual research is other than the screaming politics that comes at us each day. And to see Trump get involved in this plastic issue in our oceans, I think is really important. I worked in the grocery business for nearly 40 years. And when I started out, there was very little plastic. Many things were still in glass, but by the time I left, I would see pallets and pallets and pallets of plastic water bottles, of course, filled with water in our stock rooms and our warehouses going out to the public. Now, of course, we've made efforts in cities like San Diego here to have recycling programs. Got one of those blue cans in my yard I fill up every other week and put it on the curb. But then we find out that it's not all going to be recycled. Some of it is going into landfills. And then we find out we've been selling it to China somehow. And China one day says, no more. So now it's going to other poor countries, India, Indonesia, and they're battling with it. And we're just ignoring it, basically, by just shipping it. As long as it disappears, we think it's fine. Yeah, but it can disappear right into the ocean. There are three plastic whirlpools, if you will say, in the Pacific Ocean right now, and they're about the size of, say, 5 Texas state size of these plastic swirls. But anyway, hopefully we can figure out a way to clean this up. And this is part of this thing he signed, is to clean that up, and that's a huge job. But the best thing to do is reduce the amount of plastic. We've got to do that. It's, of course, getting into animals, probably getting into us, who knows. Yes, plastic is a wonderful thing. We use it for all kinds of things. It's very durable, solves all kinds of problems, but it's the single-use stuff that's pouring into the trash. I've been down filming, as some of you may have noticed, in the river valley. I live next to the Mexican border in the Tijuana River Valley, and during rainstorms, I've seen floods of trash come out of Mexico because whatever issue they got down there, they're not taking care of it either. So that makes it even worse. But to quote the president, he says, "I will continue to do everything I can stop other nations from making our oceans into their landfills." Trump said, and that's why I'm very pleased, he said, to sign this important legislation. The law was praised by the Plastic Industry Association and the American Chemistry Council, saying that it would help support recycling and waste management infrastructure. From what I understand, we're producing about 350 billion tons of plastic a year, if I got that number right, sorry. But the point is, it's a lot of plastic, and we produced billions and billions of tons so far for multiple things. And when they go into recycling, they're not all necessarily sorted out. I watched one in Indonesia. Some places they're using it to burn trash for energy, but that has to be properly filtered to really work in our environment. There's over 70 of those plants in the U.S. that have scrubbing systems to scrub the ash and other pollutants, and even pump carbon back into the ground from whence it actually came. Great, seemed like a great system. But it's important for us to really take a look at this and what we can do. Sometimes a lot of California is banning the single lightweight grocery bags. I really like those because I use them in my trash can and multiple other things. They were very light, but yes, they become a pollution issue. The thing that bothered me when they changed to the heavy reusable bags is that's much more plastic in those bags than the little thin ones. Now, hopefully you reuse them to make up for that. Maybe. But that was my concern, would be using heavier plastic bags in place of these thinner ones. But when I was a kid, first working in the grocery business, we used to have boxes. We used boxes. You may go into a Costco and see that now. But we used boxes a lot. And paper bags, which are made of trees or other assorted material like that. It's easily compostable and recyclable paper, far more than probably plastic will ever be. But they're working on plastic ideas to make them more disposable, possibly compostable, which would be great. But, you know, it's up to each one of us as individuals what we're going to do. But companies like Coca-Cola that produce massive amounts of plastic bottles for their products, including water by the mountainful. It looks like what I've seen. So that it's important for them to be trying to figure these things out. From what I understand, and what I've seen some experts say, the U.S. only recycles maybe 10% of its past plastic produced or consumed. It's 10% is not enough. But I understand the argument, liberal battle that goes back and forth, but all of us have to live in this world and to deal with it. And oceans produce a lot of food. We don't want to kill that off. And whatever goes in the landfills. I think we should take a good look at trash to energy plants, how we can do that, make sure it's clean and producing energy and consuming these plastic items and other trash. Burning recycles everything into its original state. That's really important, but we got to be careful with it. Reducing the amount of plastic is probably the most successful thing we can do. I use a water bottle, recyclable water bottle. You can get it one of the sports stores, and our kitchen refrigerator has a filter on it. Fill it up every day, and I use that over and over. And then I don't use up the plastic bottles. There are multiple things, like when you use saran wrap to cover your bowls of leftovers. They make nice little stretchy things that fit over the bowl, and you can throw in the washer, in the dishwasher, or wash them yourselves, and saves you the plastic. There are multiple things you can do. I know plastics are extremely convenient. Hygiene is a big point. I know the elimination of straws will probably have a hygienic effect on the amount of disease maybe we get. Maybe we can figure that out. I think when I was a kid, there were wax paper straws when I was a kid. Maybe you have to consider that. Something that can be compostable. But the big thing is to find ways to make less plastic issues. And yes, there's many places where the plastic is going to be important. But if it should be something you can reuse many times, such as you go into stores that have bulk containers. I like to buy granola, and it's in a solid plastic container that is cleaned and reused over and over for years. So it's not a one-time thing. That's what we need to think of. But there are many issues that are causing this struggle, and we ship it off to Timbuktu, if you will. We don't know what's happening with that. I mean, we feel good because we think we did something, but we've probably done nothing but pollute their country and put them into a mess. So, you know, it's something we need to be good stewards. I think as conservatives, we need to take the forefront. If we're supporting ingenuity, creativity, and free market, we need to be on top of that. We need to be leading the way on how we can fix this problem. So yes, Trump got into right away, as soon as he could, into signing legislation to do something about our pollution of the oceans with plastic, and to encourage other nations to do the same. So this is a big issue, and we need to think of it logically control the emotion, look at it, again, logically from a good scientific perspective. Let's make the most of it. So like and comment on my videos, subscribe to my channel, and get out there and solve this problem and make it a great day.